Dude, what are you doing? I'm getting ready for Batman Pray by praying to the Bat Bible? Dude, it's pray, as in predator and prey, not like religion or church. Well, that makes much more sense. Plus, where did you get the Bat Bible? Arts and crafts?
Comics and me.
Please beware of spoilers. So Batman is one of my top characters. Like, I'd probably say top 5 in a long list. I mean, 5 is a long list. But I love Batman. I even have a Batman tattoo. There's a bunch of great Batman stories I love. And I feel like in the future there's going to be a lot more episodes of Comics and Me featuring Batman. Or stories around Batman. Just because I do love the character. And he's been around for years and 75, like I think more than that now. But he's been through a bunch of different alliterations, like dark, grumpy, edgy, campy, happy, colorful, old, young, teenager. Like, we've seen him through a lot of different years, and we've seen a lot of different variations of him. So he has a very open past to where there's a lot of comics out there of him, and I mean, it feels like there's honestly a Batman comic for everyone. But today, as the intro stated, we're talking about Batman Pray. That's Pray with an E. It's written by Doug Moench and Paul Gulacy. I really don't think I said those correctly. I Googled them. I even listened to some people say it, and I don't think I really got down how to say it, so I'm hoping I said it correct. But if I didn't, I really apologize. And if anyone else knows how to say it correctly, please let me know. I'm horrible with names. But back on topic. So this was about the 90s, I want to say, when it came out. And it was the Batman, The Legends of the Dark Knight. And it was numbers 11 through 15. It was the reintroduction of Hugo Strange into continuity after the crisis. So it was post-crisis. So this was the first time we saw Hugo Strange post-crisis. So it kind of showed the first steps in who he is. And these were in the early years of Batman. And Commissioner Gordon wasn't a commissioner yet. This was still like Batman's, like, I want to say first, second, or third year. Catwoman was still in, like, brand new in this new history. Like, Batman didn't meet her yet, and she hadn't met Batman yet, so they kind of didn't know each other, and it kind of shows that, because even in the book, there's, like, some parts where it's the newspaper, it's like, Batman and Catwoman teamed up, and she's like, I don't even know this dude. So it kind of shows their first meeting post-crisis. But this is one of my top Batman comics. It's amazing. The art keeps it really grounded, because the art is very human and well done, but it still looks correct, but it's also cartoony, which is hard to do, but when you do it correctly, it looks really good. All the fight scenes made sense, which kind of sounds weird saying that, but then whenever you actually look at it, like, he would punch and his body moves correct, and the enemies would react correctly, and it looked less cartoony and not over-exaggerated to the point where it's like, wow, someone could be Batman if they dedicated years to being Batman, which is another subject that's brought up. So Hugo Strange is trying to figure out who Batman is, and I love this because you get to see his process of deduction and all that scientific stuff, like how he figures out who Batman is. And so he's like, well, from this I can tell that he has a traumatic event and he wants to fight crime because the event that happened in his past. But one of the things in the beginning where he goes wrong is he's like, oh, Batman's only taken 5 years to train himself. And he says that out loud, and James Gordon kind of gets wind of it. And James Gordon thinks to himself, he's like, no, someone who wants to be Batman has to train for years and years. You can't just do that in 5 years. That's insane. Which is, I mean, that is insane. And I like that he brings up that point. Like, the man, Bruce Wayne, dedicated his life after his parents died to become Batman. And that's something that Hugo Strange doesn't get. But later on, he kind of realizes that, and that it could be a longer event. So he's in cooperation with the task force that got set up to take down Batman, because the mayor wants to get Batman taken out. So Hugo Strange is a consultant to there, and he kind of helps him and says, oh, this, and he kind of gives him clues, and he gets full cooperation with the cops. So he gets like the records and all that stuff, and he tries to figure out who Batman is. And the whole time it's really awesome how he figures it out, and I don't want to spoil all of it. I'm just kind of giving a quick rundown of it because I really think people should read this, because Hugo Strange is one of those villains ever since I first read him years back, I really liked him, and he seemed really cool. Granted, he's not a physical person, and it even shows in the comic, like, he tries to replace Batman. He wants to kill Batman and replace him. But he is not physical enough. He has no athletic abilities or anything like that. Like, he's just all smart. And that's one of the things, like, some people don't like that. They want more fighty things. The psycho-violence or whatever kind of isn't as fun in the comic book because it's not as artsy, and I get that. But I really like this one because he just kind of messes with Bruce Wayne's head and kind of tries to get in it by making the public hate Batman, the cops against him. And then whenever he finds out that Batman might be Bruce Wayne, he puts some mannequins in the Wayne Manor and puts voices on them to act like his parents. And then this kind of makes Bruce go crazy for like a issue or so. And then afterwards goes and confronts him as Batman. And Hugo Strange is like, but no, what happened? I thought I defeated you. Your parents are dead and I got you with those mannequins. And Batman's like, no, my parents are in Peregrine. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Hugo Strange just loses his mind. He's like, no, I know you're Batman. You're Bruce Wayne. I even dressed up as Batman and kidnapped the mayor to draw you out. And then it turns out Batman's recording the whole thing, and then he's not commissioner yet. Gordon comes in and is like, there's evidence. You're booked. We need to get him out of here. And then they handcuff him and walk into the next room and find the mayor's daughter, who was kidnapped by the Night Scrounge, who is a cop that Hugo Strange, now I feel like I'm getting into spoilers too much. He got the cop to kidnap her, and then Hugo Strange dressed as Batman. This is a quick rundown. I really don't want to spoil this because it's a really good story. So then they get the mayor's daughter, and then while they're getting that, Hugo starts escaping, and then the cops shoot him, and he falls in a lake, and he's dead. There's a sequel. There's a sequel. Like I've said a few times, this story is really, really good. I feel like if they want to do adapt a comic book into a movie, they should really go with this one because it's really grounded. It's in the early years of Batman, which everyone loves doing in movies nowadays. And I mean, it has a villain that we don't see much of. And I'm going to repeat myself, sorry, but he should be in the top rogues. Like, Hugo Strange is someone Bruce should be terrified of. Like, he easily found out who Batman was, even though Bruce kind of fooled him into saying he's not. He still was able to find out very easily. And he's a smart guy, and he's not physical, but he can always hire other people or make his monster men, which is something from way back in the day. Because, I mean, Hugo Strange is actually from Detective Comics 36, from like the 1930s, but I haven't read much of that. I've read some of it, but not all of that, so I can't really comment on him. But he's just a smart guy who got into Bruce Wayne, Batman's head, and was able to break him down, which we don't see much of. And it just seems like he's underappreciated. They had him in Arkham City, spoiler alert again, and he was kind of just an underling for Roz and Joker. Like, they act like he was a big bad, and he was awesome in that. I was really happy he was in there. But then we get to the end, it was kind of like Bane in Dark Knight Rises, where it's like, oh, Talia is the main person. It's like, but these people are smart. Why can't they be the main mastermind? And that's what I just feel like with Hugo Strange lately. It's like, he's never like the big bad mastermind. It's always just, he's an underling. And it's like, no, he shouldn't be. Like, he can literally break the bat mentally, which is awesome. Also in this, since this is post-crisis, and we're kind of reliving the origins of a lot of stuff, we get the first appearance of the bat signal, which was really cool, and I like that. And then we also have Catwoman, like I said, we get her introduced, and she's in the old-fashioned kind of like purple, pinkish purple, full like skin catsuit, just like you can see every curve and everything in her body, and it has the little ears and the cat tail. And I thought the costume was cool, and I know there's a lot of people who aren't fans of the costume, but it was cool for then. I mean, I don't think it would really work now. Catwoman has had a lot of cool costumes, but I just know some people don't like the skin tidiness of that, and she does look pretty bulky, which is, I think, kind of weird for a thief. Like, they should be kind of thin. Like, the Flash should not be big and bulky because he's kind of running. So, like, if anything, his legs should be bigger because he's running. But that's beside the point. I do like her costume, and I do like her in here. And the part nobody likes, the negative of it. And I really not want to talk negative about stuff because, I mean, you can find happiness in about everything, and you want to enjoy stuff. You want to read stuff and enjoy it and not just look at the negatives because that's just not fun. Who would want to watch a movie and be like, oh, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid? Like, that just does not seem like fun. But I do have to talk about the negative. And it's not even that bad of a negative. I just feel like it might be negatives for other people. And to me, it kind of was an annoyance, but not. But Batman's thought bubbles or thought boxes are in cursive, which is cool, and this was something they did in the 90s. I don't know if it was done beforehand, but I know like it was done a lot in the 90s, where all of Batman's little thought boxes, thought bubbles, were in cursive. So then you can see it's him, like his thoughts and all that stuff, and not like Gordon's, Catwoman's, or anyone else's. So it's like, oh, it's cursive, that means it's Batman. So you would see it's cursive, and it's like, oh, cool, that's Batman. But sometimes whenever they print it out, it just kind of gets smudged together, and you can't read it. And I mean, I was taught cursive, but I know like 3-4 years after I left school, after I left elementary school, they stopped teaching cursive. Some of the cursive just isn't legible. Some kids nowadays don't even know cursive, which kind of sucks, because if a kid wants to go back and read this, they might have trouble reading it, which isn't cool, because I do want people to read this one. And I really like it, and it got me into liking Hugo Strange. Like, he's a cool character, and he needs to be used correctly more. So hey, thanks for watching, as usual. I'm still trying to do this every week, but right now I'm trying to do a Halloween special, and it's going to be a little bit longer than usual. I'm not going to make it too long because I know some people don't like super long videos, which I understand. But I'm also going to try to come out with some other videos, and hopefully my next Comics and Me, I'll have a teaser for that. I'm still working on it. But if you want to keep seeing my videos, just please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Like I said, don't like saying that, but I do like the interaction with people, and I want to hear what your favorite Bat story is. Could be Arkham Asylum, Serious House, and Serious Earth. That's one of my other favorites. The Cult, which is another favorite of mine. I'm just naming my favorites now, so please name your favorites so we can talk about it. And you know what? It might be one of my favorites too. But please just hit me up. And as always, have a good weekend, have a good week, have a good month, no matter when you see this, and just keep reading comics and enjoying them.